Which wild woman archetype are you? Are you a Kali woman? Are you a Lilith woman? Or are you a Persephone woman? I would love to share these three goddesses, sacred feminine energies with you as an offering, as a gifting. It's Independence Day here in America. Even if you hate Americans, that's okay. If you hate Independence Day and you don't fucking agree with it and you want to argue with it, that's totally cool. I fucking get it. Great. Use that sacred fire and feel into these sacred fire dark goddesses, right? So this is my gift to you. This is my offering to you. And it's a way to maybe help you to see more about yourself, maybe to help you to awaken to something. Maybe it's even an activation or a transmission of some sacred aspect of self. So I encourage you to listen to the whole thing because there's going to be three and there's going to be a lot. And typically, this is weird, but it's totally true when you work with feminine archetypal energy, is that the energy builds as you move into it, right? It's like we're whipping up a Shakti storm. Shakti is just divine feminine energy. And it like takes a minute. It's like the feminine, right? She needs a little bit of foreplay in order to build up the energy. It's the same thing with working with sacred feminine energy. Takes a little bit of foreplay, takes a little bit to like build and build and build and build and build the energy. Okay, so I'm gonna encourage you to listen to all of it. All right, here we go. Are you Kali, Lilith, or Persephone? Or who's calling you, Kali, Lilith, or Persephone? These energies are both within us and they're outside of us. So let it be whatever it is and touch you in the way that it's meant to touch you in this conversation. All right, I gotta go to Kali first. I don't know why, but I'm feeling crazy amounts of Kali energy in this conversation. Kali, she is the most sacred spiritual of the three. She is ego slayer. Kali is known for the goddess that's holding the sword in one hand. She's got 6 arms, by the way. She's holding the sword in one hand, and she's holding the head of a man in another hand. Now, that head represents slaying the ego, to liberate you, to set you free, to take you out of false self into true self. So for those who are on like a radical awakening path, for those who are really called to like the no bullshit spiritual, radically fast, wild, rapid liberation of true self, liberation from the ego, liberation from false self, liberation, that's Kali. Kali is also Kali Ma, like great mother, and the fierce love of the mother, the capacity to love the unlovable, the capacity to heal the seemingly unhealable in you. So let's say you've got like deep wounds from childhood that you're just like, these will never fucking heal, right? Kali comes along and she's like, yeah, no, not a problem. Whoosh, right? She comes with a sword. And you want to think of this sword as her sword of liberation, right? It like cuts out with precision, the karma that's ready to be cut out, the wounds that are ready to be cut out. That's Kali. Fierce grace, radical liberation of the true self versus the false self. And there's so much more to her, but just really quick for this conversation, that's what, I don't know, seems like it serves. Okay, let's move on. Persephone, ooh, love her energy. Queen of the underworld. Part of Persephone's gift is really bringing you into your power. That's a part of Persephone's like liberation. They're all liberating. They're all freedom setters. They're all wild women. And she like liberates you into your queen, right? She's a rites of passage. She's an initiation, like initiation by fire. That's often a Persephone experience, like where you are literally yanked into the underworld to find another part of self that you didn't see before, right? So she opens you up to the power you didn't know you had, gifts you didn't know you had, callings you didn't know you had. She didn't know she was called to be queen of the underworld. Part of what Persephone does is she moves you from maiden, right? From adolescence. And parts of us, even as like, I'm a 44-year-old woman now, like there are still parts that are like adolescent-y. You know, like 70 years old, there's still adolescent-y parts. Part of what Persephone does is she's like, there is so much more to this aspect of you. Like, let's rites of passage you into from maiden into queen. Let's move you into a higher expression of this aspect of self, a more powerful, could be more mature expression of this part of self. She's also, let me just feel, sacred sexuality comes up when we work with Persephone. For some of us, it's around sacred sexuality. For some of us, it's also the reclaiming of innocence. She can really bring about reclaiming of innocence and working with like the vibrancy within self, the like fountain of youth. That's another aspect of Persephone. We actually work with that in the Persephone retreat, is fountain of youth energy. It's stunning. And the power in the feminine, the power in here. You want to listen to this one? This one. Now we're going a little further with Persephone, because why the heck not? The power in the submissive feminine. The parts that we think about the feminine are so weak. She will literally show you exactly where the power is. She's like, oh, my sweet, that is not weak. You have no fucking idea how much power you have in those seemingly soft, sensitive aspects of your feminine. That's an enormous gift of Persephone, is she shows you where you think the feminine is weak, or where the world thinks the feminine is weak. And she's like, actually, no, flip this switch, move it into queen expression instead of like innocent, youthful expression of it. Move it into queen expression, and you will wield power from the depths of your feminine, your like deepest feminine longing, right? The depths of your pain. Longing can be very painful, like longing for love, longing for relationship. She's like, yeah, no, that's a manifesting capacity. And let me show you how to work with that. That's Persephone. Maybe you're a Persephone woman. Maybe Persephone is calling to you. Just a quick check-in. We got one more to go. You can always pause this video. You could always watch it like 100 times if you need to. Take notes, do meditations with it, whatever. Let it serve you. Okay, final one that I want to bring up into awareness is Lilith. Now, Lilith is considered to be the first wife of Adam. She came before Eve, who became very compliant. So Lilith brings us out of, this is one of the aspects she does, she brings us out of a nice girl. She brings us out of like compliant, let me just fit in, not rock the boat, people pleaser. Anybody got people pleaser? Lilith might be the one for you. I know I had that a lot when I was younger. So Lilith, she really, she helps us to access the parts of self that we've kept hidden, that we have kept dormant. Maybe not even we're conscious of that, but our family system has, or our society has, these aspects of the feminine that we demonize. Demonize. This is a really great word for Lilith. What in you has been demonized? What aspects of your feminine has been demonized? Maybe it's your sexuality has been demonized, like the full wildness of your sexuality. It's been demonized, so you shut it off. Maybe the full wildness of your emotional expression has been demonized, so you learn to shut that off as a little one, right? Good girls don't cry. Good girls don't get angry. All of that stuff. And Lilith is like, oh, sweetheart, there is emotional wisdom there. We need to feel the full gamut of your emotional expression, and those emotions are power. And let me show you how you can wield them sacredly and with love to gift the whole world, really and truly, your full wild sexuality, once purified, right? Like sometimes if it's remained dormant for a really long period of time, it's remained shut down, locked down, we've demonized it, it's a little kinked up, it's a little crooked, so it needs some time to like flush out, purify. But once that fullness of your sexual expression, or that fullness of your emotional expression, or your fullness of your intuitive expression, or you think about any aspect of your feminine, I mean, it's an unlimited amount of your feminine that you've demonized, or that the world has demonized, or your family has demonized, right? Any of those aspects, those are parts of self. Those are parts of you that you've literally shut down. They make you sick. They make us sick. They make us hurt. They give us like less life force, less vitality, and they make us sick. Really and truly, yeah. If you shut down your creativity, if you shut down your soft, sensual, like need to just fucking flow, right? If you've overridden it with like having to be logical, having to have like masculine rhyme and reason in everything that you've done, it makes us sick. It makes us infertile. It makes us sick. It gives us all kinds of feminine problems, right? Maybe you shut down your intuitive gifts, your witchy gifts. Maybe you shut those down. That gives us mental disorders. Isn't this crazy? It's crazy. It's crazy. So not only do they like liberate these spiritual aspects of self, right? They also make us healthier. They fucking make us healthier. They tap us into an enormous amount of life force energy, intuition that we didn't even know that we had. Right? An enormous amount of wisdom. It's all wisdom. It's all wisdom. All of these energies are sacred energies within us, and it's all wisdom. They all come with their own set of wisdoms. So maybe just feeling into, which one are you? Are you a Lilith woman? In this moment, I'm all three, right? Like, I'm very much a Lilith woman. I'm very much a Kali woman. I'm very much a Persephone woman. And that shit changes. Like, day to day, month to month, year to year. When I was doing my feminine reclamation work with them, my dark goddess work with them, it was like months and months and months and months of Kali. And I was like, wow, I just really, really Kali. I was like, I really don't feel Persephone. I don't really understand Persephone. I don't know. Like, that sounds cool. Like, fuck, made into queen. I don't know, whatever, but not really my jam. Yeah. 2 years later, holy moly. It was like Persephone. So they come when they come. They come how they come. They affect us how they affect us. They sing to us. They gift us. They awaken us. We are them. They are outside of us. We are in relationship to them. So maybe you want to pass this little conversation on to someone you know. I know having some of these conversations or sharing some of this stuff with loved ones in my life has really helped them. I don't know. This might not be. I know a lot of women in rewilding are like, oh no, this is like my secret space, and I ain't sharing this with nobody. So I totally respect that and understand that as well. Right now, we have a Kali retreat, a Lilith retreat, a Persephone retreat. They're closed all of the time. We open them once, maybe twice a year. They're open right now in July through July 11th, only super short window of time where you can get a 5-part, I think they're like from a 5-part to a 7-part online workshop series with all 3 of them. So if that sings to you, you can type freedom. Let's type freedom. Like, freedom of the fullness of self is really what they're about. You can type freedom below. We'll shoot you a link. There's a little video on all 3 of them. So if you want more, go watch the video on Kali, go watch the video on Persephone, go watch the video on Lilith. They're all on the workshop pages. And so just type freedom. We'll shoot you a link to get to all 3 of the workshops. But my gosh, it is astrologically a really beautiful and really potent time to be going into the dark goddesses. They're opposing Neptune. The black moon, which is the conglomerate of the dark goddesses, is opposing Neptune right now. That's the mystic. It's stunning. This is why we have them open, is just because astrologically the dark goddesses are really supporting our evolution and our awakening, and our highest paths forward, like soul path, true north journey at this moment in time. So black moon is opposing Neptune. And she's a conglomerate of all the dark goddesses. So Kali, Lilith, Persephone is all mixed up in there, opposite the mystic, opposite, the Neptune awakening that's happening at the moment, which is so stunning. He just went retrograde, which is really a powerful time for him. And then we've got this Mars Uranus conjunction that's happening. Everyone's talking about it on the 15th of July. Mars Uranus conjunction. It's like volatile energy. It's also awakening. That's Uranus, Kundalini awakening. It's awakener. It's an awakener. But Mars is a warrior. So we'll see what kind of volatility this is. But is opposing Lilith asteroid. It's opposing Lilith. That just makes it a whole nother level of fucking liberation, of wildness, of awakening. And I really, really feel how much the dark goddesses support this moment in time. So if any of them are singing to you, they're open until the 11th. Would love to share any of them with you, or just go watch the videos to get a little bit more. Again, type freedom and we'll shoot it over to you. All right, huge love to you all. Have a great day.